Hi. I wrote this piece just over a year ago, and it's called "We're Not Ready for Single-Payer Healthcare Because We Disagree on Basic Morality." I posted it at some point after that on DailyKos, and it got a good reaction. Got a lot of discussion going on, and I'll post the link to that down below. But I do know that some people don't want to go to a blog and read it, and so I thought I'd record it and leave it up on my YouTube channel for moral health care. So, a common incantation during debates on healthcare reform is that we all want the same thing. We merely disagree on how to get there. That is rubbish. And that's by the late, great Uwe Reinhardt. In a 2011 Republican presidential debate, candidate Ron Paul was asked a pointed question about what to do with someone who needed expensive health care but did not have health insurance. "Are you saying that society should just let him die?" Some in the crowd jeered, "Yeah." Paul indicated that as a physician he did not find it acceptable to do so, and offered charitable care from churches based on his experiences in practicing medicine in the early 1960s, before Medicare and Medicaid, eliciting applause from the crowd. Last year, so this would have been 2 years ago, I attended the Keystone Progress Conference in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for a few hours. I attended a panel discussion of progressive candidates who lost their elections in deep red districts. One of the things I heard was straight out of this Ron Paul universe. All four of the candidates said they were surprised that so many conservative voters were afraid of having others get over on them, that these others would get free health care and they were going to have to pay for it. And those people, for those people to be freeloaders, that they would have to subsidize, etc. In 2013, Dan Monroe, writing for Forbes magazine on the anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech, pointed to several myths so common to conservative thought about America, in particular a backwards interpretation of the bootstraps fable. The myth that literally anyone, through hard work and determination, can rise out of any poverty and become rich and prosperous. We salute, praise, and deify anyone who does, but there's a dark side to this myth. Anyone who doesn't isn't working hard enough, or doesn't have enough determination. In effect, they're a loser, and nobody wants to pay for the health care of losers. Veronica Combs paraphrased it as, "There is a real meanness in the conversation about who should have health care, an implication that people who need help somehow don't deserve it, or that they are taking advantage of the rest of us." All of this, of course, is not really news. Making a moral case for universal health care in any form is denounced as socialism or not the job of government, or as Ron Paul said, that we must assume responsibility for ourselves. The American Medical Association has famously opposed movements towards universal health care, from the Truman administration to the passage of Medicare and Medicaid, and through opposition to major parts of the Affordable Care Act. Martin Luther King Jr. noted that of all forms of inequality, injustice in health care is the most shocking and inhumane. Many have railed about the inhumanity of Americans toward each other regarding health care, and the late Professor Reinhardt has asked for decades, to what extent should the better-off members of society be made to be their poorer brothers and sisters keepers in health care? Americans capable of unbridled generosity in helping individuals pay for a transplant or some other services when the individual in question is deserving, are ruthlessly cold-hearted when compassion is requested for those they deem undeserving, as the Tea Party crowd showed us in 2011. Reinhardt was clearly stung by the idea that his adopted countryman, he was a German-born U.S. citizen, rejected this solidarity, in contrast to every other nation's resounding yes to the question. He also pointed out that the way Americans avoid the moral question that faces us is to play the game framed by the introductory quote. We pretend that the problem is we disagree on policy, writ small and large, and find ourselves down rabbit holes about the reimbursement for an anesthesiologist for a 15-minute unit of time, with or without a nurse anesthetist. Every other nation has started with the moral and ethical principle over their values as a society and worked towards a solution to provide health care to all their people, deserving or not. As another professor noted, The last time I taught at the Semester C program, I found it necessary to interpret for our students the rich social capital that runs through the Northern European societies we were visiting. What they knew and had read in their guidebooks was that not many people were in church on Sunday morning, especially compared to the florid religiosity of the United States. So their working assumption was that Americans take religion seriously and Europeans don't. The new thought that amazed them was that the unchurched Europeans live in social democracies deeply saturated with historic Christian values, while the much-churched Americans celebrate a society characterized by a ruthless social Darwinism that the God of the Bible, Old and New Testament alike, denounces. What is preventing us from having the basic moral argument about our values regarding healthcare? The answer is threefold. The first is a strong puritanical streak in American culture that prompts many of us to divide our fellow citizens into camps of deserving and undeserving people. The second is a now unfathomably large industry that has much to lose should efficiency and order find their way into the American healthcare system. The third is our human cognitive biases that lead us to sloppily assume political and moral positions that will take years of work to overcome, using cognitive psychology to reframe the debate and convince people that doing the right thing is the right thing to do for everyone. Thanks for listening. Please check out the Moral Healthcare channel. I have several lectures about using cognitive psychology. I urge you to look at the 3 books lecture, which sort of is the journey of how I got to this point and came to found Moral Healthcare as a 501c3 organization. And please also check out my lecture on cognitive psychology and healthcare reform, because it puts together in one place all of my thinking about how to use cognitive psychology to move forward towards universal healthcare. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.